wrong.
What?
I was in a deep sleep on my dog with the bed at my feet.
Hey guys, welcome back to today's YouTube video. If you're new here, hi, my name is YAYAYA. I do videos for your guys' entertainment, and for today's video, we're doing a podcast, and I'm here with
Emily.
Yay! But first, snap. Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
What's your name, P.O.B., so they calling you Bob?
Freaking hair.
Stop playing, or you do know that I'm known.
Okay, so for today, we're actually doing a school assignment, so our whole English class is seeing this. Hi guys. And we have to film a podcast. And we chose the topic of like Reddit stories, like haunted stories. So we bought these wigs because these stories are actually gonna be scary, and us reading it with the rainbow wigs make you feel a little bit better. So yeah. So we're gonna start with the first Reddit story. You wanna go first?
Yeah, I have it pulled up.
Yeah. Go. You're welcome. Go.
Okay. I'm gonna start choking on the Starburst. Okay. Okay, here we go.
What's your name, P.O.B.?
Hello everyone, my name is John Williams, male, 47. I'm from Toms River, New Jersey, and I have been discovering paranormal activity in my house recently, and no one believes me. Everything started about 3 months ago while I was home alone cooking in the kitchen. My wife took the kids out to the park around 5 p.m., so I decided to get dinner settled for when they came back. The way my kitchen is built, there is a window in front of the sink, and the fridge is by the doorway so you can see whoever walks into the house unless the refrigerator is open. As I was finishing cooking, my wife called and said she and the kids were on their way home, so I decided to set the table. As I was setting the table, I heard a faint noise coming from outside the window. I didn't think anything of it, thought it was just some kids playing outside on the street or maybe someone walking their dog. I turned back around to grab silverware and I see a black silhouette standing outside my window. My heart drops to my stomach. I stand there in fear thinking I was going crazy or maybe I'm seeing things. The longer I stand, the longer it stares. Me and this figure are staring at each other until I hear the sink turn on in the bathroom. Keep in mind, I am still home alone. Something was telling me not to move and stay as still as possible, but I didn't listen. I ran into the bathroom panicking, calling my wife to turn around and not to come back until I said so. She asked me what was wrong and I told her everything. She believed me and she told me she would stay at the park a little longer. As I'm hiding in the bathroom in fear, I hear the front door open, thinking it was my wife. I creak the bathroom door open and I see the front door wide open with no one in sight. I walked out of the bathroom slowly, defenseless, feeling like I was losing my mind. I look around the kitchen, nothing. I look around the living room, nothing. I check my kids' bedrooms just in case they ran in to try and scare me, nothing. Until there was one more room, my wife and I's. I had an eerie feeling about it, but I knew I had to do it. I walk into the bedroom, and before I even have the chance to turn the light on, I hear a faint voice coming from my wife's closet. I walk over to go and open the door, but before I could even touch the knob, the door opens itself. It's my wife, standing there, shivering. I feel a lump develop in my throat. My heart sinks to my stomach, and I feel chills shiver down my spine. I asked her, "Are you okay?" In distraught, completely forgetting about everything before. "Nothing happened to me, sweetie. Are you feeling okay?" she says. I looked at her confused, not confused on what she said to me, confused on why her eyes were changing color every time she spoke. Okay, but me being me, I thought nothing of it and told myself my wife needed care ASAP. I wrap her. What do you want?
Yeah, I'm on the same story as you. And then
Big Sister General.
Oh god. Okay, wait, let me finish. What the hell is that? Is that Aquaman?
This is right about the story.
There's a video.
Guys,
There's a video.
it's right about the story. Okay, keep reading.
Oh god. I wrap her in a blanket and sit her down on the couch. Mind you, the window I brought up earlier, you can see the couch when you look in. I then proceed. Wait, what? You can see the couch when you look in. Oh, like when you look inside from outside, I'm assuming?
I would hope so.
I then proceed to look for the kids. I walk outside to their front yard looking for them when all of a sudden I see a car pull into the driveway. I look into the window and I see my wife driving with my kids in the back. I ask her, "What are you doing here? I thought you were inside." She looks at me as if I have 5 heads. "What do you mean inside? Remember you called and told me to stay at the park longer?" My stomach drops as I realize that whoever is sitting on the couch is not my wife. I look at the window and I see that thing standing there in the window smiling at me. To this day, no one believes me. Hopefully you all do. What the What the
I would actually poop myself. I would leave.
I would.
What would you do in that situation?
What the can you do? That's terrible. Oh, wait, blur that out.
Wait, I'm gonna be like, what the bleep?
What the bleep? I would bleep myself.
Wait. No, I would actually poop.
I would too.
Also, all of these. Wait, I'm looking at our outline from our class. All of these submissions are from the what is it called? Like the Reddit. What is it? Like r/paranormal encounters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're doing it from. Okay. Do you want me to read the next one? Do you want me to read the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is the second story. Okay. So my 6-year-old son saw a mimic yesterday. Me and my wife were downstairs entertaining our other kids when my eldest son came quickly down the stairs and was rather freaked out. With a little prying, he tells us he just saw me upstairs in our room, which is the opposite from his, slowly backing away into the darkness with white glowing eyes smiling.
What is going on?
What freaks me out is I do stuff like this with him.
What? Is he molesting his child? My God. What the
Don't even call CPS. Okay. I'll do that to make him jump. And then he runs into my room to attack me, but the fact this thing must have. What the heck am I reading?
I thought the Sour Patch Kid was the mic.
To attack me, but the fact this thing must have known doing this normally draw him into his room. Luckily, my boy has a good sense and instantly realized it was not me. It is. There's like dots, but okay, it is. Thoughts, comments, and concerns. Why do you normally do that to your child? Can we talk about that for a second? He normally does that to his child.
That's crazy.
Oh, it says I'm not connected to the internet. My bad.
One eternity later.
An encounter with something in the woods in Florida. Any ideas what it was? So I know this is going to sound cheesy and fake, but last night on Friday the 13th.
Wait, last night? Like last night?
Wait.
Like yesterday?
Wait, yesterday?
Yesterday? Yesterday was Friday the 13th.
Wait.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah, it says
2 hours ago!
I'm quivering in my boots.
I'm shaking in my bob.
It's like the music. What you got? Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let me start again. Sorry, guys. We got sidetracked there for a second. So I know this is going to sound cheesy and fake, but last night on Friday the 13th, me and my boyfriend, I can't believe it was Friday the 13th. Me and my boyfriend were right, and we were doing the podcast on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Me and my boyfriend were spending time together, and I thought, oh, let's go out to the woods by your dorm and look for some raccoons and possums and other critters. Who just says that?
Let's go look for some.
Let's go look for some worms.
Let's go look for some bears.
Let's go for a polar bear.
Just right now. You know, I could really go look for a buffalo right now.
I could really go for a nice little caterpillar. Sorry, guys. I stuttered. Okay.
I could really go for a blue jay.
I could really go for a woodpecker right now.
Woodpecker.
Okay. This is our explanation. Because we both love animals like that.
Like that.
Like
We
that.
both love animals like that. We both go look for an ant.
I can go look for a bee right now. Okay. I can really go for a nice wasp. Like, what are you
I could
doing?
go for a cockroach.
I can go for a flying ant. Okay, anyway.
Flying ant.
We both agreed and went to grab dinner and then walked to the woods. It's about 10-ish. Why would you go to the woods?
Stupid.
There's a wig itch in my head. Why would you go to the woods at 10-ish? Okay. And we're about 2 miles in. I see this deer jump right over the path and walk into the bushes. And I say, oh, look, it's a deer.
Oh, great.
He looks for a good 5 minutes, but we don't see the deer. I see it as clear as day. Let me click on it. Oh, it's very long. But after that, we continue. Nice. We continue, and we're about 4 or 5 miles deep into this trail. Damn, I can barely. I can do half a mile.
I can't do.
I can't do it.
I don't even know.
I can't barely walk to the fridge. Okay. Deep into this trail. My boyfriend says, I run this trail every single morning and I honestly have no clue where we are right now. That kind of spooked me because it's pitch black out and he has no clue where we are. So we see this path that takes a right and we assume it will loop us around and take us back to the beginning so we can leave. About 2 to 4 feet ahead of him, I just freeze in place with my phone flashing, pointing into the bush. And he comes around the corner and sees me and says, what the F is wrong? Sorry.
What? Who are you apologizing to?
Miss?
What?
I have to bleep out her name or she's really mad.
Mhm.
And then I look, pointing my flash of my phone in the bush, and he's looking down, and I say, look up. He looks up, and all you can see are these bright blue humanoid eyes about 9 feet up staring at me. It was really skinny, but so tall, and you could see it slowly scanning to me, to him.
What the bleep?
What? I make eye contact with it for maybe a minute until he grabs me and says, we need to go. And the second he says, the thing moves towards us.
What?
Moves towards us in like this crooked movement.
This was yesterday.
This was yesterday. In Florida.
In Florida. Ew, what?
Wait, why are scary stories so like popular?
Because I think because like I think because it get was it like itching or something? Why'd you just whip it off?
Go.
I think because it gets like you like it gets you on hook, like you know, like let me drop the Sour Patch Kid for a second. It gets you like on hook, you know, like it gets you like not intimidated, but like thrilled, you know, like a thriller.
Like a
Like you're like, oh, like I want to know what's happening next. Like wow, this is really cool, and it's not like some basic story about like I don't know, like Taylor Swift or something. Talk about like her music. I don't know, but like I feel like a scary story is just like better. Like like when you talk to people, they want to watch like horror movies. I think they just like
girl, I never want to watch a horror movie.
I do. I think they. Okay, I get it. You don't want to watch it. Can you like look at me?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like thrillers and like being like on the edge of their seat. You know.
Yeah.
I like good horror movies. Like, I feel like they're more interesting. You know.
I feel like they're just like made to make you like fear certain things, like camping.
I will never go camping.
Me neither, because of the horror movies.
Yes, I don't. Plus the bugs.
And
Off topic.
plus the bugs. Yeah, I want to go look for a bee right now. No.
Let's go look for a termite.
Let's go look for some red ants. No, I also think it's because like people like feeling the sense of like flight or like fight, you know, or like domain releases when there's like a threat situation, and like the brain releases like dopamine. That's also another reason why so many people like watching horror movies. So they're like, what's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on
here?
What's going on?
There was like grassy plains area with no trees in the area, just tall grass and bushes. So we walk slowly. I'm walking backwards. He has me by my wrist while he's walking forward. So you can just see this thing stalk us until we take the left turn and retrace our steps back out of the woods while we are walking/running. Why are you
walking/running?
You should be sprinting. Okay. We were screaming prayers, and I don't know, it was terrifying. And when we left, my body just kept telling me to go back into the woods.
What?
And I couldn't stop tearing up while just staring at the woods when we got out of it. Also, while we were leaving, there was this loud shriek or howl. What? Okay. I'm laughing through the pain. I'm
burping.
Okay. I know this is speculation, but he said the name is a S Walker or a Wildigo. And I was also whistling at the deer in the woods. Why would you do that?
For survival instincts of a squirrel.
She's like,
she wants to be one with nature.
there's this girl that came on my Instagram reels, and she was like, she's like, oh my God, I can move the wind. And she's like, going like this, and the wind starts blowing. She's like, I did it. And I'm like,
I did it.
I mean, God
What did
did
you
it.
do, bro?
What do you do, bro? Like, add more air into the wind.
Add more oxygen.
Yeah. I don't know. And we smelled this super strong odor, and it got dead quiet when we saw it, and the closer we got to leaving, the louder it got of wildlife. This was yesterday.
What the
What would you do in that situation?
Walk/run.
Well, do you think these stories are like fiction or like real?
I believe it.
I believe in all of them.
Me too.
Like,
How do you make something up like that? Well, I mean, it's very easy.
some of them can be fake.
Yeah, for real, bro.
Yeah. But like, also some of them have pictures.
Yeah.
So I feel like most of them could be nonfiction.
I believe in all of them, except
Moral of the
some.
story: scary Reddit stories thrive because of their realism.
Mhm.
You know, and like making readers question what's real and what's just like imagination.
Yeah.
Because like that also gets me to like some of them are, like sound fake, but like
Yeah.
that sounds real because like you're going. First of all, the thought process: you're going to the woods at 10ish.
Mhm.
You don't know what's in the woods, girl. We don't even know what's on this planet.
On this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the planet. Yeah. This is how it starts off. On the outskirts of Houston in the east, a 1970s subdivision was built on top of an 1800s graveyard. They moved any markers but didn't move bodies. After new homeowners moved in, they would dig for pools, and some couples came across old graves. Their experiences became national news, ended up going to the Supreme Court, and even has an episode of Unsolved Mysteries in Oprah based on their stories and hauntings. Today, experiences throughout...
Backstory. Sorry.
Right?
She's like really going detailed.
Right? Throughout...
Setting us up for the creepy part.
Yeah.
She's like setting us up for the
Throughout the
creepypasta.
community still happen, and they're documented in Facebook groups for community homeowners. I myself have spent the past year using Reddit as a way to document my experiences. It's been over a month since I've last posted.
Ooh.
Damn! So, she says, so as people who follow my story know, I have 2 little ones. Both of them are nonverbal and one of them is autistic.
Aww.
Ever since we had started living here, I've wondered what their POV was, as the kids don't seem scared or don't understand, as they are only 2 and 4. Now my 4-year-old daughter is diagnosed with autism, and in the past a lot of things have happened around her, and I've never been able to ask if she's scared. Well, this past This month, she's she's made leaps and bounds in communication. We finally are able to ask her simple yes or no questions where she could nod her head or shake her head as responses. Okay, this is the conversation they had.
Come.
Are you scared of being here? No. Does your room scare you at night? Yes. Do you see more people in the house other than Mama and Dada? Yes. Are they scary? No. Do they talk to you? Yes. She ran off after that. Now keep in mind she's a 4-year-old with autism. I can't jump to conclusions and say... What? Conclusions? I can't jump to conclusions and say yes. She's experiencing things and comprehends what she's seeing, but it lends itself to what we have seen in prior events at the house.
Wait, pause.
Okay.
Unreliable narrator.
Now, as for updates, as a family, we are busy and living in this house. We have grown accustomed, or what you would say have learned to coexist with whatever may or may not be here. That's most likely the reason on this slow update, and keep in mind, things don't happen every night. It's fairly random. We still see doors shake. My wife even caught my daughter's door on video, and you can see my daughter sleeping in the background as it happened.
It's chilling.
The door is vented, so in theory, airflow shouldn't affect it, and the shaking lasted in intervals.
Like it's like stops and starts.
Yeah, 5 to seconds. Wait, 5 to 10 seconds. Did I say 7? What the bleep? Regardless, it's more of a novelty when paranormal things happen. Even my wife, who is super jumpy, is excitedly calm when things take off, but that doesn't mean they don't surprise me time to time. Okay, here comes the story. One night, the family was asleep. Kids were in their own bed for once. I realized my daughter went to sleep without her bear, so I went to find the bear. I find it and return to my daughter's room. As I passed her room, I heard her faucet to the sink turn on full blast.
Wait, pause. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
My first thought wasn't paranormal, but I was thinking, well, crap, something else that is going bad. We've had a string of things fail in the house lately, and I'm thinking, add this to the list of things that cost money. I turn off the water and head back to the master. What? Oh, the master bedroom. Oh my god.
The master.
Oh my god, stop. As I'm grabbing clothes from the dresser to get ready for bed, I heard another faucet come on, and this time it was in the master. Now, if this was the same faucet, I would have thought it was a faulty faucet, but instead now it is on a different faucet in a different part of the house.
She's using oh my god. She's using alliteration.
That's strange. Is it paranormal? I think it lays on the plausible. I don't know plumbing enough to say that's a natural thing, especially since the faucets would be 5 years old now. Another night, I was in my son's room waiting for him to sleep. He was resting on top of me and just father-son bonding. I was watching a movie when I heard the doorknob turn violently. My son
How do you violently open a doorknob?
Like open it. Like slam, like the door slams open. Like it's like when you open the door, like you're opening it like really aggressively.
Oh, like
that's like violent and like the
wait, the door like open or like the doorknob? I'm like thinking like the doorknob like shaking like
the doorknob was open like as if like a person was opening it like really angrily.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My son shot up at the noise, and of course I thought it was my wife, and I was going to shoo her away as our son was about to fall asleep, and the noise was going to wake him, which it did. My son and I both sat up looking at the door, but no one walked through. Now I thought there could be a possibility that my daughter came in looking for me. She's no stranger to this, and she's not one about subtle entrances. 15 minutes later, I'm going to our master, and I asked my wife if our daughter came looking for me, and she said no. She's been in bed the entire time.
Good night.
The following night, I put my son to bed, no hanging out like I do, when I'm walking through my living room, and I heard a female's voice say, "They're asleep."
You know who else is asleep? Me. I'm going to bed.
What the frick? I look around, and at one end, my wife is asleep in the master, and I see her. I turn around, and my daughter's in her bed, and she also can't say those words properly. Now, another thing that is new is that TVs in the house are turning on and off on their own. And it's not just one TV. I have 5 TVs in the house, and 4 of them are going on and off randomly. We have a frame that senses motion turns on it, art mode, in the middle of the night. Now, I work in industry, and I design systems that control these devices. Yes, I do have a control system. Now, I have looked into the control logs and see no commands that are being sent out for the 2 out of the 5 TVs that are on the system. The other 3 aren't on the system. Is this paranormal? I haven't found an explanation yet, and 4 of these TVs are only are only a year old in different bands. One is 10 years old and is also doing it. It's acting like the toys in the house where they will randomly sound off. But at least with that, I can say there is a possibility of batteries dying and think of that as a logical explanation. Anyways, as new things happen, that is not of the usual door shakings. I will be updating.
So he thinks. Okay. What do the people say under it? Because, like, I don't know if you guys know, on Reddit, you can go under it because people make comments on your story and give you feedback.
Yeah.
What do they say?
Someone said, "Come on, man, a 4-year-old with autism is more than capable of making stuff up." Then they say, "What do you think is more likely? Some evolved monkey ghost lurking around, or you're under a misapprehension?" Then someone said, "Well, of course she can make things up. She has a wonderful imagination. And like I said, time and time again, we never know what the kids see as we adults see things happen often. And for us, this is the first time we've ever been able to ask these questions to her that she may possibly understand. I'm not sure what you mean by monkey human ghost or the misapprehension that I may have. A detailed explanation would be appreciated." And then someone just said that the voice spoke to them and that they're brave.
No, yeah, that's like chilling.
I don't like.
But also,
That wasn't
like,
bad.
it wasn't bad, but, like, also what makes a good, like, horror story? Like, all the elements he had.
They weren't that bad. I feel like it was like overly detailed. I think
Yeah.
like foreshadowing is really good in a horror story.
Yeah. Look, can I have some water? Some water? I'm like exploding right now. The most disturbing night of my life when I was a child. This happened to me when I was sleeping at my godmother's house. I always slept in the living room alone on a mattress on the floor. I was never afraid of being there. It was peaceful. But one night, something completely out of the ordinary happened. I was woken up by being pulled by my foot. Half drowsy, I got up asking my godfather because he was the one who always woke me up. But when I looked closer, it wasn't him. It was a creature.
Oh hell no.
His eyes were bigger than his face. He looked half humanoid with black skin, and what struck me the most, he was wearing red swimming trunks. That image never left my head, even years later. I screamed in fright, and then he screamed too, as if he was scared of me. Then he ran into the kitchen, knocking over pans that were hanging off the walls. I ran to my godmother's children's room, knocking gently on the door to open it. Inside, and when I told them what had happened, they didn't pay attention much. They put me in a hammock and asked me to try and sleep. That's when the second part of things started. In the middle of the night, the sounds of drums began outside the house, and suddenly I felt a hand running slowly across my back. I couldn't scream, I couldn't move. I just accepted that, feeling my hand for hours until the dawn. When the sun rose, everything stopped, but I could never understand what happened that night. To this day, when I tell the story, I still get goosebumps. Oh my god. Someone put on the comments, were the pots and pans on the ground the following morning? And he said yes. Someone just wrote a long one.
Just now?
Yeah, no, like, there's, like, the comments. Someone said, I was going to say that's easily sleep paralysis until I read the pots and pans were on the floor the next morning. Now I'm stumped. Because I feel like the hammock thing, well, like, the hands, that could be sleep paralysis, but then, like, the actual thing, you know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing Dobby, what's his name? Like the
one from Harry Potter?
Yeah, with like his swim trunks on.
This one's called Midnight Encounter. I live in an apartment complex and I genuinely don't think it's haunted. I've had a couple incidents though, but that's a story for another day. I now live with my boyfriend and multiple pets, and this is from a few years ago when it was just me and my dog. When I lived alone, I would always praise my dog for barking if someone is at the door. I call it his intruder bark. I understand it's rude neighbor etiquette, but I'm a girl in her 20s in a big city and I'd rather care more about my personal safety than being a quiet neighbor. Besides, he only barked when someone's knocked and would stop when I checked the door. One night, I was in a deep sleep with my dog on the bed at my What? On the dog? I read that so wrong. What? I was in a deep sleep on my dog with the bed at my feet. It was probably around 2 a.m. or so. I never checked the time. And my dog woke me up to his intruder bark. I opened my eyes to the darkness of the apartment and waited for another knock in case there was someone at the door, but it never came. Another weird thing was my dog didn't jump out of bed and run to the door. He stayed right by me. Looked up through the bedroom doorway and I could see the kitchen in my line of sight, and I froze. My dog was still barking. There was a very large shadow, sitting like it was crouched on my kitchen counter. I didn't look away from it while I reached for my glasses on my bedside table, but I knocked them to the ground. She dropped her glasses. Are you praying? Still staring at the shadow, my hand started fumbling around on the floor searching for my glasses, but I could never find them. Oh, no. So I finally turned away and looked for them with my own eyes. Once I grabbed my glasses and put them on, I looked back into the kitchen and it was gone. That's it. One of the comments was saying I trust the dog, like this whole paragraph, and they said, I forgot to mention where it was sitting. I could have tried to debunk it by other shadows of items on the counter, except there were no items on the counter. Oh my god!
There's a video.
Oh god, I don't think I want to watch it.
You wanna watch it?
No, I'm gonna...
Should we watch it?
No, I'm nervous.
It's
As it's playing? No,
it's a minute long.
she's playing it.
I'm playing it. Just vote.
Just
Yeah, we're not gonna do that today.
Did they hear that?
No.
I'm playing it again.
Should we? They're walking closer to the sound.
What the fart? What the survival instincts of a squirrel?
No, but ant.
Why aren't you walking / running away?
I'll try to make this short so it's not skipped. Listen, I don't know if the supernatural is real, but I need help if it is. 100%. Do you think it's real?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm currently living in the woods.
Okay. I don't know if it's real, but someone was just standing in my doorway a minute ago.
Someone with a top hat.
I live alone, by the way.
I have no kids. I saw children running. And then she goes in second sentence, not the woods. Not the ones kids brag about when it's only a few trees. I live in the middle of the woods.
Does that what?
Is this the things that
I am and have been running every day for about 3 years now, or ever since COVID. I lost track. I don't have headphones. Okay, you're a serial killer living in the middle of the woods. I've broken too many and lost too many. Get AirPods. Air. When I'm out, I don't have anything with me other than my phone and the endless circle I run in. While I don't feel safe going on trails,
You scared? I'm not scared. I'm just like appalled by like the stupidity. I don't know if it's real, but someone's following me on this trail.
like I'm all alone, I hear screaming behind me.
I'm gonna go towards it.
There have been stories told to my parents who built the house about some people who've died in the woods or near the woods. Move out.
Let's go live there.
Yeah, Appalachian tip. Top of the mountain. Top of the morning to you.
There, put me on the list.
Put me on their gravestone.
I will give you all my money for gravestone. I just realized what you said.
Hunters being mauled to teenagers killing themselves in the woods.
And you live.
Usually during the day, I feel pretty safe running around in my yard. So she just she got a circle around the tree. She got the clockwise. She's like, oh, I'm going this way. Okay, I'll zigzag. Wait, she goes, or in my trails. Didn't she just say this?
Or in my trail.
Go out at night. I would.
Why would you go at night?
Yeah, why would? Okay. At night, I feel watched. Move out!
Roll my wig.
The wig is acting up. This line of trees that I feel like is watching me. I feel really effing stupid now saying it out loud. Yeah,
Good. You are. Bro.
There's nothing up here. It's hollow. Like Shirley Temple. It's hollow up here. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna put on your seatbelt. Sometimes I feel like these long finger / octopus looking things are gonna come up to me and strangle me or consume me fully. This is not normal. Is it normal somewhere? Then I hear noises, whispers, never really telling me anything, just noise.
Cheers.
I've been noticing that every time this happens, it is usually around 10 or 9:10, and never any other times. And if I see a different time, it has been happening for a while before I check the clock. Always, these times, I genuinely don't know if I'm being crazy. Please help.
You are. Did that help?
It's fascinating, and I understand what you've been feeling. I lived in an old growth forest for half a year, and the things I experienced, I've never experienced in my life. I experienced a mimic twice and heard something. What the hell is that saying? Biblical? Jesus, it's so large in the forest, I can't explain it. The activity was always at night. I would hope so. Okay, she's unreliable.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
But like,
That's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't walk the trails, but I do walk them.
I do. My yard is my trail.
The night I heard a woman scream. Hello, everyone. The house we lived in back then had its fair share of odd occurrences. But honestly, weird things have happened in every house we've ever lived in. To give some backstory, my parents have had paranormal experiences for many years, even before my siblings and I were born. At one point, my mom went through something terrifying. I was around 14 at the time. She used to wake up with scratches, bruises, bite marks, and objects thrown at her. It got so bad that the police once came because they thought my dad had hurt her.
What?
But he would never. She was really sick, bedridden, constantly seeing doctors who couldn't find anything wrong. She has diabetes and epilepsy, but neither explained why she kept getting bruises or struggled to walk. Eventually, my parents invited a medium to the house. I remember that moment so clearly. He walked in, looked around, sat down, talked to my mom, then closed his eyes. As soon as he did, every light in the house flickered for a while. Then he told her that a dark entity had attached itself to her. He described it exactly as she'd always seen it. A tall, black figure, a man with a veil covering his face. Then in 2012, my sister passed away. After that, the attacks mostly stopped. Strange things still happen now and then, but nothing as violent as before. My mom's health also took a better turn for the most part. She strongly believes my sister's protecting her. Anyway, that's the quick backstory. Now onto one particular
That was the story?
I've got quite a few unsettling encounters myself, and I might share more later, but this one haunts me the most. When I was 21, I'm 28 now. Everyone in my house was asleep. I've always been a night owl. I enjoy how peaceful the world feels at night, as if time has paused and I have complete freedom. I felt hungry, so I paused my video game. I only got this eerie feeling. It's hard to describe, but I just felt something was off. I shrugged it off, patted my cat, opened my bedroom door, and stepped into the hallway. Our hallway was a straight path leading to a staircase at the end, which took you to the ground floor. Just days earlier, we had painted the stairs and walls white. They used to be plain, old brown wood. As I walked down the creaky stairs, I remember getting annoyed at myself for being so loud. I didn't want to wake anyone. Once I reached the ground floor, I opened the living room door. Our living room was fairly big. On the left, there was a door leading to the basement. Straight ahead were the kitchen, garden door, and bathroom. To the right were the TV and couches, your standard family setup. I started making a chicken sandwich, but I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling. All the lights were on, so I tried to ignore it. When suddenly, a feeling of fear hit me. I still get goosebumps every time I remember that moment. Panicked, I turned off the lights and shut the door, heart pounding for no reason I could understand. Then a scream broke the silence. It was so loud. So loud. Just a woman's scream, almost like a wall. It was clear as day, as if she were right there in the living room. I ran up the stairs as fast as I could, completely terrified. The strangest part will always be that no one else in the house heard it, just me. I've tried to rationalize it. Maybe a pipe burst, maybe a neighbor screamed.
Yeah, just pipe.
It's like, but neither explanation makes sense considering how loud and close by it was. Something I never mentioned before when telling the story. 2 weeks later, my mom's aunt passed away from old age. Was it a sign? Something else? I have no idea. But that memory is burned into my mind, and it still terrifies me to this day. Someone said it could be a coyote.
Oh,
and then
they don't have coyotes. They might have foxes.
yeah, he said he lives in Belgium and they don't have coyotes there.
I feel like the scream could be a fox, but the only way it could have been a fox if it was like the fox in your house.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know if I told you guys, a little story time. It was like 3 a.m, and if you guys know me, I don't play with my sleep. Okay, I might love to stay up, but whenever I go to sleep, it's like I'm dead. Nothing's able to wake me up. I wake up and hear this woman screaming, like coming from the back side of my house, and I woke up my mom, and my mom called the police, and I texted my neighbor, and I'm like, the neighbor's mom, like my ex-friend's neighbor's mom, and I was like, hey, like, do you mind checking your Ring camera, because like the sound was coming from the back, and it was a fox. The fox was like, ah! This woman's dying here. It was the cops. Call 911. I'm gonna read. It grinned at me. I spent most of my childhood going back and forth between my grandparents and my great-grandparents' houses. They lived right next to each other with just a gravel driveway separating the two houses, so it wasn't a long journey between the two. One section of my grandparents' basement was dedicated to my grandpa's model trains. This section was about the size of a large master bedroom. The trains look up the entire area. There were tunnels and towns, factories, and train stations. It was like a wonderland for a 7-year-old kid. One day, I walked over to my grandparents' house and found out that my grandpa and my uncle were in the basement running the trains. I quickly ran down the basement steps and headed for the doorway to the hall that led to the area that held the trains. About halfway to the door, I suddenly stopped dead in my tracks. I can't remember clearly what made me stop, but I think it was a sound. I turned to look, and there was a shadow on the wall that looked like a face. It had eyes, a mouth, but no other features that I can remember. I stood there trying to figure out what was making the shadow on the wall. It must have been the cold outside, because my grandpa would hang up clothes in the basement on the metal rafter that ran the entire length of the basement. I told myself that the clothes hanging there must be making the shadow look like a face, and oh my god, wait. And I was about to continue on my way. That's when the edge of the mouth turned upwards into a grin. It wasn't a nice grin like, hi, welcome to the basement, young man. It was a menacing grin, evil grin, like no one's going to hear you scream when I start eating your face, young man. If you've never seen something like this, I can't really explain. The feeling runs through my body. It was like every hair on my whole body stood up on the end at the same time. I've heard people say a chill ran down my spine, but that doesn't actually explain this feeling. Sorry guys. And people that have seen something like this know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like an electric shock running through your entire body. I was utterly terrified, and I was only 7 years old, so I did the right thing I knew in the situation. I absolutely lost it. I started screaming and crying.
I absolutely lost it.
I started screaming and crying, and they just stayed there grinning at me.
No.
Imagine you're like trying to go to bed, and it's like,
What's up, bro?
it's like, hey there.
Good night.
Good night, go to sleep. And it's like,
Oh my god, I remember seeing this TikTok. It was like a really weird story. I don't even know if it's true. It's not.
is it not?
It's not. But I just remembered it, like there was like this man in this little kid's room, and he was just sitting there, and the kid was like pretending to be asleep, and he wrote on the wall in like blood saying like, I know you're awake, or something like that. Cause he like peeked his eye open and he saw it. He's like, oh.
What's going on? What's that, Red? My grandpa and my uncle came running in, and my grandma came running down the stairs. I turned to look at my grandpa, and when I looked back, it was gone. They tried to tell me my mom was playing tricks on me and that I was just imagining it, but I know what I saw. There were no shadows on the wall after it disappeared, so there was nothing there for my mind or my eyes to misinterpret or confuse. I'll never forget as long as I live. And to this day, when I think about it, it gives me goosebumps. I've had a long time to think over the years, and I don't think I was supposed to be able to see it. Once it realized that I could, I think that's when it grinned. Like it was pleased that I was able to see it. But I don't know if it's true, but I think it is. Someone in the comments go, that's very cool.
That's amazing. Your face almost got eaten.
What? I'm like scared. Like, my wig's like slowly coming off. I'm scared.
I heard something speak during sleep paralysis in a language I never heard before. That's the title.
It's like, hey puta.
Peo. Peo Ayato. I've dealt with sleep paralysis since my teens, but by now I'm familiar with the routine. The frozen body, the weight on my chest, the looming sense that I'm not alone. But there was one incident about 2 years ago that still unsettles me every time I think about it. It was different. Something spoke to me in a way I've never felt or experienced before. It started like most of my episodes. I was asleep in bed and became suddenly aware that I couldn't move. I was lying on my side, facing the far side of my room, with my back to the rest of the bed. But I knew something was next to me and I could feel it, and then I saw it. There was a tall, thin, pitch-black figure standing directly beside me. No facial features, no glowing eyes, just a void in the shape of an eerily stretched person, darker than the darkness of the room itself. The curtains were slightly cracked, letting in a soft line of natural light from outside, but somehow that only made the figure more visible. It was as if the absence of light had taken on form and weight. Then it started speaking. The voice was deep, heavy, and fast. The language, I can't even begin to describe it. I've never heard anything like it. It wasn't gibberish either. It was fluent, intentional, and had a rhythm. It seemed articulate, with chunky, harsh, intentional sounds that carried this electric-like feel. Almost like the words were being charged with something, vibrating in the air around me. I felt as though this thing was giving me some sort of instructions. To what they could be, I have absolutely no idea. I was frozen, in typical sleep paralysis style mode. I couldn't move an inch. I couldn't whisper or scream, but despite the fear, the strongest emotion running through me was rage, pure fury. I wanted to attack it, to hurt it, which is strange because in most paralysis episodes, I just feel fear or confusion. This time, I felt like I was ready to fight for my life. This figure kept speaking, fast, intentional and deep, until suddenly I heard as clear as day a voice in my head, not in the language and the figure was speaking, a different human-like one, neutral, commanding, almost like narration. And now you can wake up. And just like that, I jolted awake. Just like that, I jolted. I jolted away. Awake? What's going on? Awake. I jolted awake, soaked in sweat, heart racing like I sprinted a mile. The room was empty, silent. I was alone. I've had other sleep paralysis episodes. I've seen other black figures. Sometimes tall, sometimes short. Oh god. This sounds so bad. Once I even felt myself flying towards the ceiling, only to wake up just before impact. Wait, and I've been diagnosed with exploding head syndrome, where I'll shift from a dream straight into sleep paralysis state with an intense, painful vibration that feels like my skull is about to burst.
So basically, the video cut because my phone ran out of storage, so like I just like spent like 20 minutes deleting everything. But that was the end of our podcast. If you enjoyed today's YouTube video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you liked about the story and if you like the style, because if you do, we'll be back with more wigs.
That
was weird. Anyway, that was all for today. Be sure to not look into your closet tonight, because there might be something in there apparently.
Don't say that.
Okay, bye guys. Bye.
Like and subscribe.
Don't stop, get it, don't stop.
Don't stop making it.
DJ, pull my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till you see the sunlight. TikTok on the clock, but the party don't stop. And no, oh, no. Okay, do that.